Hey, Dr. Joe here on this Wealth Wednesday. Hope everyone's doing well. You're probably wondering, why in the world am I wearing this strange hat? And why am I looking so casual? Well, the reason why is because I'm going to Dominica tomorrow. Not the Dominican Republic, but the Commonwealth of Dominica. And Dominica is a small island in the Eastern Caribbean, and it's saddled between two other islands. One's called Guadeloupe, and the other is called Martinique. In the Eastern Caribbean. So I'm going to be there for 2 weeks, heading out there tomorrow. So when you watch this, I'm probably going to be in Dominica. Why am I telling you all these things? The reason why is because I went to the Bigger Pockets conference last week in San Diego. Had a great time. It was about 2,300 people were there. And networking was fantastic. Met a lot of people who I didn't know, people who knew me, but I didn't know them. And people who I knew, obviously, friends, and it was just a good time. Great job to the folks down at Bigger Pockets, and looking forward to BPCon 23. I think they say they're going to hold it in Orlando next year. So looking forward to that. I was a speaker, so I talked about, Section 8 to a pretty good audience, very engaging, and we had a great time. It was a lot of interaction, and some of the people say it was probably the best presentation of the whole conference. How about that for modesty? Anyway, so the reason why I'm bringing that all up is because, when you get to the this is my, maybe I'll show you this. I don't know, you probably can't read this because it's all probably back to front. Anyways, my name, Dr. Joe, and BPCon 2023, you probably can't read that. Anyway, when you get to a conference, they give you this, like a goodie bag with a whole bunch of different freebies in there. Anyway, they had this little book. It's called Work Less, Achieve More. And it's by Brandon Turner, Bigger Pocket. Shout out to Brandon. Again, you probably can't read this is back to front, but it's a little, it's a short read. You can probably read it in about 10, 15 minutes. But anyway, it's a very interesting title. And I read through that document, and I thought, that'll be a good topic to discuss on Wealth Wednesday. How do we work less and achieve more? Essentially, how do we become more productive? And so therefore, I wanted to kind of dwell on that for this session today. So the title of today is Work Less, Achieve More, Practical Ways to Be More Productive. So I'm going to give you some little tips based on my experience and based on my research on how we all can be more productive. I'm by all means not the most productive person. I'm always trying to better myself. But it's a constant battle, especially when there's so much distractions out there. For example, I know a lot of you guys are into social media. I mean, it can suck you in if you're not careful, just spending time on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. My biggest, time killer is emails. I get so many emails, just trying to respond to all those emails, just checking emails. And, it could be a very big distraction. Other people, text messages, especially when you get these notifications that something's come in. So, your phone dings. And so the next thing you got to do is stop whatever you're doing to kind of check it and see what's going on. And if you're in the work environment, I remember there's been, interruptions from coworkers, people, who just stop by and have a little chat, and just really shoot the breeze. And next thing you know, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes is gone, 30 minutes is gone. And now you got to go back to where you were before. And it'll take some time to kind of catch up from where you left off. So it's, these distractions are very, very, it's important to recognize them. And it's important to sort of have some strategies on how to minimize them so that you can be more productive, i.e. you get more work done in a given length of time. For me, I want to work less, achieve more in the next, the remainder of this year and also next year, so I can spend more time traveling. My goal is to do more travel, especially overseas, to visit other countries, get immersed in other cultures, and make friends and relationships with people from outside the U.S. I'll try and travel within the U.S., obviously, but I really do, striving to do more travel overseas. I went to Dubai, and in the last 12 months, Dubai, Ghana, and now to Dominique in the Caribbean. So that's my goal. And so I want to work less and do more. How about that? So anyway, so let's talk about some of these, time thieves. Let's say time thieves. How about that for a term? These sort of things that will really eat up your time and make you less productive, so that you can sort of, address some of these things. So the first one, we all have distractions. I mean, we all do that. I have them. As I said before, emails, phone, social media, text messages, coworkers or phone calls or whatever they are. And the thing is that you have to, step one is to identify what your biggest time thieves are. Because if you don't know, or if you don't recognize what they are, they'll just keep on going. So it really doesn't matter what you do. You'll never address the root of the problem. So the first thing I think is to spend time to find out what are the real time killers for you. What are the time thieves that really take a hit on your productivity? And if you can identify these items, it could be just simple. As to me anyway, it's the phone, and especially text messages, email messages. I'm not really, I don't get too immersed in wasting time on what's it called, social media that much. But some people, they watch TV, and I really don't understand. They can watch TV like 5, 6, 10 hours a day. And especially some of these series on Netflix and Amazon, they can just suck you in. When you've done one episode, then you go to another episode, you go to another episode. Next thing you know, you spent all night watching stuff where you could better off spending other time becoming more productive, doing things, setting goals, achieving financial independence, goals and things like that. So identify what these things, this is tip number one, identify what these sort of attention or these time thieves are. And that's really the key, because if you don't, you're really fighting a losing battle. Productive people, they know what their time killers are and the time thieves are, and they take the necessary steps to minimize or eliminate them. And I'll go through some of those a bit later on. But as I said before, if you don't deal with this particular problem, then it's going to be very, very difficult. So think about what you can change in terms of your activities. I'm trying to when I need to focus on something, I try to either turn my phone off or put the phone in a different room. And and I like to work in silence. So it's very hard for me to work where there's noise going on in the background. So I like to be in an environment where it's quiet. It's necessary sometimes. I have to go to the library, or I just kind of lock myself out in the basement and just focus on what I need to get done, and so on. So that's what I do. But the important thing is to minimize, well, first of all, is to identify what are those things. The next thing, another, tip that you may want to consider is what I call finish your day before it starts. So what I mean by that is to plan your day each day. So, you wake up in the morning, you may have, have a bite to eat or do some exercise or whatever it is. But one of the first things I try to do, and I find it very, very, very good, is to plan my day. I come down, identify all the key things I need to get done this day, and like a little brain dump. And once I've done that, then I sort of prioritize them in terms of what's really important I need to get done immediately, or and the ones which sort of if I get to it today, then they're great. If I don't, it's not the end of the world. So I know that there are certain strategies. David Allen has one, getting things done. There used to be one called from the Franklin Covey methodology. So essentially, you write down you write down your things to get done. You prioritize them, and in getting things done, GTD, he has a series of next things that action items that you have to do. But whatever it is, the important thing is to plan your day, because if you plan your day, then you can make a much more productive day rather than just fighting fires and just doing stuff. And next thing you know, it's the end of the day and you realize you haven't really accomplished anything. So there are lots of planning tools out there. I'm not going to recommend one or the other, but the important thing is everybody knows what their strengths are. I like to plan, and I usually find it very helpful if at the beginning of the day I try to identify the key things I like to accomplish during the session, and that way I can sort of prioritize my time during the session. So that's number 2, is finish your day before you start. Plan your day before you start the day. How about that? Okay, so number 3 is celebrate small wins. Celebrate small wins. What I mean by that is that, if you got a major task or project to do, or, you're starting the day and there's so many things to get done, and, you kind of feel like you're overloaded and so on. If you got 10 things to do, when you've done number 1, check it off. It kind of feels good when you check something off your to-do list, and you can strike it out. So celebrate. I won't say, celebrate is probably a strong word. I'm not saying go party, but I'm just saying that, you're making headway, especially if you identify some of the tasks that you want to get done before the session today. And therefore, you sort of celebrate these small wins. But don't fool yourself by, doing, what's the right word? Make work stuff that really is not that important. And then you check it off just to make you feel good, like you've done something. No. I'm talking about identify the important things of the day. And when you check one off, when you complete one, celebrate, have a good time. Hey, congratulate yourself, and so on. And the other thing is, number 4 is leverage like there's no tomorrow. Leverage like there's no tomorrow. What do I mean by that? It's that, and I'm getting there. I think I'm getting better now, which is to realize that I can't do everything. And some tasks really shouldn't be done by me. It should be done by somebody else. So I'm using virtual assistants. I'm trying to integrate more virtual assistants into my business, and, other assistants, such that it allows me to focus on what I think are my strengths. For example, if I'm a rehabber, it's a silly example, but I'll just say it anyway. If I'm rehabbing houses, I could paint. I could probably drywall. I could probably do the plumbing. I could probably do the electrical. I could probably do the HVAC. I could probably do all those if I take the time to study and be an expert in those different trades. But I'm not an expert in the trade. I don't really enjoy painting. I don't really enjoy hanging drywall. There are other people out there who love that. And there are other people out there who'll be more than happy to take on those tasks. So it makes more sense to identify those folks, incentivize them to do it, i.e. pay them. And then that frees me up to do other things, which only I can do. So that's another strategy here, is to leverage other people's talents, leverage other people. The saying goes, no man is an island. To be successful, I found, is to have a team. And the best team is to have good quality people like mine who want to get the job done without a whole lot of drama. So don't be afraid to trust other people. There are other people out there who are better than you, could probably get more stuff done than you can. And so leverage their time, leverage their, their expertise, and, it'll be worthwhile. So as I said before, I'm trying to integrate more virtual assistants into my business. It's going to be a slow slog, but I think the ultimate goal is going to be there. But the idea is that I surround myself with, experts or people who can take on tasks which I shouldn't be doing, really. In fact, there's this book. I forgot what it is. Oh gosh, I forgot the name of the book now. But essentially, one of the things, the exercises that we did in that book was to identify those tasks that only you can do. Identify those tasks which you can do it, but you shouldn't be doing it. And tasks that you really shouldn't be doing at all. And tasks that you don't like doing, but needs to get done. So they kind of broke it down to those 4 main blocks, and then try to match that up with different skill sets and people and so on. So that's a good one. So number 4, let me just kind of summarize where we are on this 4 tips so far on trying to be productive. So number 1 was to identify the time thieves, those things which really, you waste a lot of time and really kill your productivity. Identify those things. For me, it's email, it's the phone, distractions from the phone. If I really want to get something done, I just either turn it off or put the phone in a different room, and I'll deal with it, afterwards. Don't answer any calls or interruptions. Number 2 is to finish the day before it starts, which means planning your day before you start. So you can kind of identify some of the key things. I think in the Franklin Covey business model, they call it the most important tasks. You identify your MITs, 3, and then you get those done, and all the other small stuff, you get that done as well. But you focus on your most important tasks, and therefore you become a lot more productive on the big stuff, and don't get too caught up just doing the small stuff and overlooking the big stuff. So that's number 2. Number 3 is celebrate your small wins. When you get something done, you sign it off. Hey, have a little, I don't call it celebration, but just, pat yourself on the back and so on. And leverage. Number 4 is leverage like there's no tomorrow, which means that you leverage other people's skill sets, whether it be other team members, virtual assistants, or whatever. And then we go to number 5, which is recharge your batteries. Recharge your batteries. There was a time when I was at college, I used to just work. I don't have a problem. If it's something which needs to get done, I can just work hours and hours and hours without interruptions just to get it done. I'm really focused, and, I sort of cut out all distractions, and I just zero in. So, but once you've done that, you kind of need some time, just a time out to what we call recharge your batteries. And everyone's different. Some people, they can only do that focus attention for about 15, 20 minutes. And then they need to have a quick break, 5-10 minute break. And then they go back again. Other people can do it longer, maybe 20, 30, 40 minutes at a time. As I said before, I'm comfortable if I need to get something done, just zero in for about an hour with no distractions, whatever, and just put all my energies and thoughts into that task at hand. And then I can then relax or recharge the batteries. It could be having a break, walking around. It could be having a cup of coffee. If you drink coffee, a cup of tea. It could be exercise. But, just something to kind of recharge the battery. And so you can go back and do the next 15, 20 minutes. There's a business model, I think it's Pomodoro, I think they call it, whereby you work 15, 20 minutes focused, and then you take a little break. 5 minutes or so. Then you get back in for another 15, 20 minutes, and then you take another 5-minute break. So that's another strategy. It's probably too much detail to go today, but it's a good one. I find that quite helpful, really, where you can identify the key tasks and you block it into, these little blocks of 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes at a time, and then just take a small break. So you may want to, check that principle out. And then number 6 is, so that's recharging your battery. Number 5. Number 6 is become an early riser. I'm sure that's a very controversial suggestion. But I know for me, I get more done in the mornings. I'm a morning person, so I can wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30 without a problem, and come down and just start working. I'm sort of at my peak performance. I don't feel tired. I can, in fact, I usually exercise. My typical morning ritual is wake up around 5:30, come down, work out straight away, sort of get some energy. And once the energy's sort of fired up, then I'll sort of start the day in terms of planning my day out, read some motivational quotes. And while I'm working out, I usually listen to a podcast or some kind of educational piece. And then I'll start my day, plan the day, and then start hitting the to-do list. I know there's the Savers one. I forgot who the author is. He has a principle, SAVERS. I forgot exactly what they stand for, but it's an acronym that he uses, the morning ritual, or forgot what they call it now. Anyway, so becoming an early riser, that's just me. I like to get stuff done. I know that when I was working at the office, I used to go into the office early as well, because there's no one there or very few people there, and you can get a lot of stuff done without distractions, without people barging in your room or to your office and so on. So, it may be worthwhile to consider anyway, wake up a little early. I don't expect you to wake up at 4:30 if you're used to waking up at 7. But you can maybe wake up 15, 20, 30 minutes earlier and start your day and hopefully, get more done during the day. Okay. Number 7 is use what we call time blocks. Time blocks, as I said before, is, when I have something to do, I just block out an hour or 2 hours, and this is all I'm going to do. I'm just going to do that only, this one thing, and I'm put all my energy, all my time to that, and nothing else. No distractions whatsoever. So I'm blocking out some time in the day just to focus on something, a task that needs to be done. I like to do that, especially if it's a time critical, time sensitive, activity that needs to be done. And I usually get it done. If you put all your energies, all your thoughts into one thing, there's a pretty good chance you stand a better chance getting it done. And that's what the whole concept of time blocking is. There's plenty of software out there, that can help you in time blocking. The worst comes to worst, you can use a stopwatch, simple stopwatch. And, and therefore you can sort of block your time and work on something until the alarm goes off. So that's number 7. And number 8 is avoid interruptions. I think that I don't really need to elaborate on that one. Interruptions can be really, really a drain for your productivity. I know that if you're working, you're focused on something and somebody comes up and starts interrupting you, or you get a phone call, or you get a text message, and it's like an interruption. And so your thoughts, your energy is now misdirected into whatever the distraction is. And then once that's over, it takes you time to get back into the cycle of where you left off. So if you can try to minimize interruptions, then I think that will be great. And again, there's different things that we can do. You can lock yourself in a room somewhere. You can turn the phone off. You can turn off those apps or those programs that are distractors, and so on. So, but you have to avoid interruption. You could be in an environment whereby the chances of interruption are less. And if you can find a safe space in your home, in your office, or wherever you may want to be, whereby you're unlikely to be interrupted, I think you'll do yourself a lot of good. And it kind of leads on to number 9, which is shut down digital disruptions. Digital disruptions, we all know what that is. It's your phone, your text messages, your computer dings, these notifications on these applications that sort of signal to you, hey, do something. If you can shut those down, either turn those programs off, delete those apps if necessary, or just turn the phone off or turn the computer off. And that way you can, zero in on what needs to be done. So that's number 9, shut down digital distractions. And then finally, number 10 is measure your success. Measure how you're doing. There's a journal which I use. I try to use it. Let's just say that it's a really good one. It's called the Mastery Journal. I bought that one. I think I got it from what's it called? Amazon. It's a pretty good one, and that helps you a lot of these to become productive. All those things which I talked about, you can track them, and you can measure your success to see how you are doing. Are you becoming more productive, and are you getting more work done in less time, and so on. So the bottom line is that I've given you some 10 tips, practical tips, which I think they're all you can use. And I'm full disclosure, I'm not the perfect in terms of productivity. I know I can do a lot better. My goal is to incorporate many of these things into what I'm doing, so I can work less and achieve more. And so I can spend the time doing what I want to do, and really enjoying life to the fullest, and doing good, but also helping other people That's what I want to do, is to have more time where I can, do good, but also make a difference in other people's lives as well. That's one of my goals. And, especially by traveling and meeting other people and trying to help those who are less fortunate than I or you are. And one thing I do know when I travel is that, the United States, there's a lot of problems in the United States. We all know what those are. And I don't think I need to reiterate here. But when you travel, what I find is that you tend to, especially if you go there with a sense of learning and just open-minded, you can learn so much from other people who don't have much, but they, their priorities are different. Their priorities could be family. Their priorities could be relationships. They don't have much money, but they are, they just, they're doing good. So I want to travel more to experience those situations and be thankful for what I have, and hopefully be a better person, a more wholesome person, and don't get too caught up in the minutia that we always sometimes do here in the US, which is it's all about the money. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. No, it's not. Money is important, yes, but there are other things which are just as important. And I want to sort of have that balance as we move forward in 2022 and move on to 2023 and so forth. So that's, my friends, is today's Wealth Wednesday. Hopefully it was interesting. Hopefully you found it enjoyable. And so let me just quickly wrap up those 10 tips which I gave today. And tip number 1 was identify your time thieves. Identify those things that just suck up your time. It could be email, it could be social media, it could be Netflix, it could be streaming, it could be whatever it is. You got to identify those things first, because if you don't, you're really fighting a losing battle. Number 2, finish the day before you start. Plan your, especially the most important tasks that you want to get done before the beginning of the day, and that way you have a to-do list rather than just continuously fighting fires. Number 3 is celebrate the small wins. Pat yourself on the back when you've accomplished something, or you've taken something off your to-do list. You've done good. You've done well. So celebrate, within reason, of course. Number 4, is leverage like there's no tomorrow. You can't do everything yourself. Leverage other people's skills, especially people who are better doing what it is that needs to be done, better than you are, especially some of the administrative tasks. I'm trying to incorporate more virtual assistants into my business. And, so take off my plate those things which need to be done, but it doesn't necessarily need to be done by me. I can find other people who can probably do it just as well, if not better than I can. Recharge your batteries. That's number 5. Once you complete the task, take a little break. Again, there's a Pomodoro method. I think it's Pomodoro, where you work for a time slot and then you take a short break, and then you kind of repeat it again to kind of recharge your battery. It could be taking a quick walk, just walking around, do some light exercises, get yourself a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, and kind of just refresh your batteries before going back and continuing your work. And some people can work in 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 an hour blocks without interruptions, without any breaks. Other people, it's 5, 10, 15 minutes. Again, you know yourself better than I do. Fine it is. But the important thing is recharge your batteries after a continuous session. Number 6, controversial, I get it, become an early riser. I don't have a problem waking up at 5:30 in the morning, because it's quiet and get more done. I can accomplish a lot before 9 o'clock. And so I don't need to work so hard in the afternoon. But if you're not an early riser, you may want to check it out. Maybe wake up 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour earlier. Take it in little steps, especially if you're in the office, because you can go to the office where there's no one there, and you can get a lot done before you're interrupted by other fellow colleagues and work friends and things like that. Number 7 is use time blocks. Time blocks is like you break down or you allocate a certain time of the day, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, where all you do is just focus on one thing alone, in time blocks. So that's a very, very good strategy. You may want to consider that. Number 8, avoid interruptions. I don't think I need to say much about that one. Interruptions from friends, social media, telephone, text messages, notifications. You got to avoid those things, because by the time you've attended to that interruption, it's going to take you, a whole nother set of hours or minutes, 20, 30 minutes, just to get back to where you were before the interruption. Number 9, shut down digital disruptions. I think I've said about that. We all know what the digital disruptions are: your phone, your computer. They're the big ones. And then measure your success to see how you're doing. It takes time. These steps I've given you, these tasks I've given you, the strategies I've given you, if you're not using them, it does take time to, sort of perfect them. But the bottom line is that these are some strategies, and we all want to strive to be more productive. Why? Because if we're more productive, we can get more done, in less time. So we can work less and we can achieve more. That's the goal, is to work less and achieve more. So that way we can do what we value as important. And to me, what's important is being able to spend time, friends, family, loved ones, and just do some travel and kind of just enjoy the great things that life has to offer. Because no matter what, a wise man once told me, no matter how bad you think you got it, there's always somebody somewhere who would love to be in your shoes. There's always somebody somewhere who would love to be in your shoes. So it's not so bad. As I said before, the saying goes, this too shall pass, and you'll be fine. Let's just be productive, so we can work less, achieve more, and as we say, smell the roses. So my friends, that's it for today's Wealth Wednesday. I hope you find it interesting. And I will see you. I'm going to Dominica, as I said before. I'll probably share some videos, and while I'm over there hanging out, partying and going to clubs and going to visit people, and go to the beach, go mountain hiking. All those things that nature has, and all those things that this island has to offer in the island of Dominica, in the Commonwealth of Dominica. Not Dominican Republic, but the Commonwealth of Dominica, which is saddled between Martinique and Guadeloupe, these French islands. Anyway, my friends, I will speak to you later. So have yourself a wonderful day.